Yes.
So I feel when we I don't feel when we did this. I know when we did this on Tuesday, I thought it was somewhat therapeutic when we talked about the Canadian Football League. John just said literally seconds ago, "You ready?" I said yes, or I said ready. He said, "I'm still mad about the CFL."
Well,
do you have anything you want to talk about?
Wouldn't you be? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. I know.
It's like we're gonna put this is for more highlights, and this is for more of this and more of this, and I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't the game entertaining enough as it is?
No, obviously not. It needs to be more
Obviously
entertaining.
not. I mean, you're taking away the fabric of it. You're taking away some of what makes it unique. I know why you feel like you need to mainstream your product, or at least you do from the front office of the league itself. But I mean, I am not looking forward to the next 2 years. I am looking forward to seeing how they want to try to figure out the financing for all this. Like all the trickle-down effects that we were talking about last time?
You are still... Have you been up all week? You've been up at night.
Yes.
Tossing and turning.
No, if I'm up, I'm not tossing and turning. I'm just up.
Yes. Hey, quickly, yes or no to the 3 downs versus the 4 downs?
Oh, I love the 3 downs.
Okay,
I mean, look,
that was good.
that's the thing. It's
I said yes or no. I said yes or no.
CFL has your own. Be your own person. Be the first you. Don't be the next so-and-so.
You always try to be somebody else. And that's when problems happen. You try to be somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Be you. Don't worry about everybody else.
We're going to talk about the CFL probably next week again. I'm thinking we may do this for the next 300-plus days, but we shall see. What we're going to do in this program, going to get into some more baseball. Boy, the race is down to the wire for some of these teams. For a lot of these teams, we'll dive into that. The Ball Strike Challenge has been approved, John, for 2026. We'll get into that.
Here we go. It's the Robot Overlords taking over.
It does not look very good for Alexander Barkov and the Florida Panthers. We'll get you that update in a sec. But let's begin with the big story, John, the Ryder Cup. And do you see this? Do you see this?
Yeah, I do.
So I'm tapped in to what Luke Donald and Keegan Bradley are doing and talking right now with all the players who are playing and the respective vice captains. This is directly to Beth Page as I'm talking to you. And
the ball in the hole before the other guy.
I'm hearing that the U.S. is having a lot of issues.
They are having, they are having what is referred to as issues. As we are discussing things early on a Friday, at the time that you hit the record button, morning foursomes are done, and 3 of the 4 went to Europe. So they are off to a quick 3-1 lead. And the 4th match was actually all square heading to 16, and it was a wayward tee shot on 18, and that made the difference after securing the 1-up lead. So it was a 2-up final in the 4th foursome, and so we're 3-1 after the morning foursome.
I love this whole thing. I really do. It's every 2 years. I understand it's every 2. I'd love to see it every year because it just works, whether it's in Europe or whether it's in the U.S. You may not agree because of the head shake. I will say this, that regardless of what territory you're in, whether it's on American soil or European soil, just the focus in on, well, in the Americans' case, a nation. In Europe's case, a whole bunch of different...
A whole blanking continent.
Right? Coming together. But to see the passion, not only from the fans, and I want to talk about something concerning the European Ryder Cup team in a second when it comes to fans and how they were getting prepped for the craziness at Bethpage from the American faithful.
It's New York, people.
I know. But what's great about it is the passion from the golf fans. There was a thing that came out I think it was yesterday during the practice round, and Rory was on the tee. I think I sent it to you earlier on today. And Rory was trying to do up the top button on his shirt. And a guy who, this is one of the best chirps of all time. It was clean. And when you have the Europeans turning around and saying, you know what, that's pretty good. He said, not even a button's going to help you prevent you from choking.
Don't need a button to help you choke.
It was great. But the point is that fans get into this so much, John. It's like a college football Saturday. It's like an NFL Sunday. It's like the World Cup of soccer. It's crazy.
Well, and if you're still kind of about Ryder Cup.
Come on,
Well, it's just it's golf. You put it over there. What I would suggest is go on your favorite video replay device, where you can perhaps have something to do that only you would like, and it's on the tube. As an example, go find what you need to do is go do this search: Rory McIlroy. Patrick Reed. 2016 Ryder Cup.
Yes. Right?
Hazeltine, yes. And so they're one-on-one on that day at the Ryder Cup
That was the final day on the
It
Sunday,
has
yeah.
been laid out as the greatest game ever played in some circles. And it was one of the most fun atmospheres at Hazeltine.
Yep.
It personified the entire event and what it means. And when you have European golfers who respond to the hot crowd, like
Yep.
Rory does. Rory has spent so much time over here in the U.S., he understands the hot crowd, or it's almost like a WWE event.
Yep.
Or I guess most recently an AEW event, considering they had the pay-per-view up there in Toronto. They know when you have those European golfers who either can lock it out or can respond and embrace it and just thrive in those kinds of environments. 2016, Rory McIlroy, Patrick Reed, Hazeltine, that is the personification of this whole tournament.
It was incredible, the preparation that the European team went into this. So Luke Donald and the team, Rory said after the BMW PGA Championship on Sunday that team captain Donald gave players VR equipment on Tuesday after a team gathering. So what that did was it allowed those on the European team to look at the course while adjusting to noise and insults from outside the ropes. That is where this is now at. So you need VR equipment, and I fully applaud Luke Donald for this, because you know what? You and I played golf before. I'm terrified in the first tee with the other three guys I'm playing. I can only imagine what these guys have to go through when there's crowds 100 deep looking at every single shot that they have and every single shot that they do. So for Donald to do this, for the European team to block out the noise, because what have we said, John? We've said that golf is 80% mental, 20 physical. I'm even saying maybe 90 mental,
this weekend, yeah.
10 physical. Anybody can do it at 90 pounds soaking wet, but it's all up in here. So good on Team Europe.
Yeah, but have you done it in a cold night at Stoke, basically? That's I mean, that's what you're staring at. It is 30, 40,000 U.S. fans at Bethpage Black, one of the nastiest courses that's out there. And so
it's brutal.
Yeah, where do you want to have the Ryder Cup? Yeah, we'll go to Bethpage Black. Why the hell not?
Let's go somewhere real tough. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's not like the Muni out by the airport. You know, it's not. That's not how this plays. But no, if you're not a golf person, just for the sake of the nationalism that's attached and understanding how hot the crowd is, watch it on Sunday. Watch the tournament on Sunday, the last day, to see what it means to each and every one of these golfers and their families and the fans that are there on both sides, because you got folks from Europe that fly over and turn it into an adventure. And at Bethpage Black in New York, it is an adventure. I will guarantee you that. So just look, embrace it for what it is. It is not the Canadian Open at Glen Abbey. It is. It's just not. And so it's a different animal. Put it off to the side. Embrace it for what it is, and wave your favorite flag appropriately.
They are going to go toe-to-toe through Sunday, and, of course, the format is you have how many matches? You have two teams, 12 players.
11 matches.
Yeah, 43 matches played over 3 days. You have the singles going at it, 12 singles matches on Sunday. That's going to be a lot of fun. This is not fun. Well, it's been fun for the Florida Panthers, John, as you know, back-to-back Stanley Cup championships. In fact, 3 straight seasons they have been in the Cup. Could have been a three-peat already. This is not the news you want to hear. According to what we do see, at least the last a little bit of information, Alexander Barkov, their captain, could be out for the entire season. So this was one of those plays in practice, non-contact injury. Mikko Mikkola and Barkov got tied up a little bit, and Mikkola's a big boy. He went down on Barkov on the leg, and he had to be helped off the ice. So they're still waiting, the Panthers, as we're doing this right now. You said Friday. We're doing this right now. They're still waiting exactly the news to come out, but from what we're seeing in Elliot Friedman, of course, one of the best in the business, he's reporting that it could be a season-ending injury. That is a blow.
Yeah, you've got to have surgery. He's in surgery today, according to the Associated Press, and so you have simultaneous acts going on. Paul Maurice having his scrum with reporters while Barkov is undergoing surgery. And so that way you can sit there and have some kind of plausible deniability. No, I don't know what's going on. No, I don't know what the doctors have told me. He's in surgery. He's in recovery. That way, when that's over, everything calms down, swelling goes down. Then once the surgery's over, the Panthers are set to release more details. And then, as Maurice said, you won't know until procedure's over, swelling's down, you get a chance to take a peek at it. Paul Maurice quoted as saying, I know the idea is next man up. There isn't a next man to fill Barkey's skates. 20 plus 51 last year to help them, and you get 6 plus 16 in the playoffs to get the.
But you know what? You know something? The best part about him, he is one of the quietest, best leaders in all of hockey. What he does on the ice is something, but I think what he does on the bench, what he does with the coaching staff, what he does with the fan base, what he does with the community, what he does with the teammates in the locker room, you can't put a price on that, man. Like, I don't care who you end up getting, because now everyone's going to say, well, if he's out, then what are we going to do come the postseason? Is he going to be back in time for then? Is he gone for the entire year? Which means not just the regular 82, but however far the Panthers go. And you couple this too, John, with Tkachuk. He's had surgery as well. He's out for a bit, right? So right now the Panthers, their back's up against the wall.
Tkachuk is listed as December.
Okay.
And I say that kind of with a parenthetical question mark. And this was the interesting stat that came out of all of this. Since Tkachuk came to the Panthers in 22, Florida has played only 5 games without either him or Barkov in the lineup, and that was all last October, and the Panthers won 3 of those 5. I know that's not a stat that you like to hear, but you can navigate it, and I'm interested.
And we've said women, men, whoever it is, whatever they're playing, they're tough. Hockey players are built differently. Tkachuk was playing with a torn hip abductor for the entire postseason for the Panthers. Hurt himself during the Four Nations for Team USA, and yet you could tell that he was a step behind. But the fact is, the guy's playing. He was getting shot up, whatever it is. But the good thing for him was he decided to have the surgery. That was the right thing to do. Anyway, thoughts with Barkov as we get that terrible news, at least right now, for the Florida Panthers. You want to talk? I want to throw this one at you. Yeah. So see there, I've got the Bet High Club. Yeah, that's a little bit of a reference, you know. So you know how when you're on the planes and whatever, you can number one, try to avoid all people screaming, and hopefully they get off the plane before you disembark. And
good luck.
And then you can either watch whatever you want on TV, you can fall asleep, do whatever you need to. So now you have United Airlines, John, sports betting. It's part of its in-flight entertainment. So you can do up a little 12-leg parlay if you want at 35,000 feet. Drinks, gambling, live sports. So basically this story is saying that planes have turned into a airborne casino.
I mean, it's a logical extension. But this, to me, as someone who works in television, I've always learned to go from 100% negative and build forward from there. You're at the mercy of Wi-Fi connections. You're at the mercy of and you're at the mercy of the airline itself. I mean, and you've got to figure out your timing, because let's just say that you're on final approach.
I know where you're going.
And literally you're going in and you're seeing what's going on, and you're trying to sit there. Game is over, next game is up, and you're trying to make you're on that 11-team parlay, and you're smashing it. And if you get the 12, you get the Lotto 649, you get the $742,000 or whatever. You're trying to make that 12th bet on final approach, and you are praying to whatever God that you love and endorse that you are getting that one in, and that the Wi-Fi is working, and that the announcement doesn't come over the loudspeaker, that you need to put all of your devices away, even if they are in airplane mode. You've got to either stop or hope that you can get that thing in time. But I pressed the button. Well, timestamp here says you didn't. Well, you only got 11 of 12. Sorry, we can't give you the payout. This just screams of people having to be really careful, and it screams of something happening where someone says they did something and it didn't register, and you're at the mercy of the timestamps and the Wi-Fi and the airline, and good luck on that one, sailor.
So up here in the north of you, one of the sayings is know your limit. North. Yes, that no, up. Well, okay.
Well, north. If I'm sitting here, north.
Let's just pretend. Yeah, there it is. It's play. Know your limit. Play within it. So know your limit. Play within it. Maybe for this now, it can be know your limit and make sure you get it in before you descend to ground.
Yeah, know your limit before you descend it. That's exactly.
Before you descend.
Yeah, know your limit before you descend it. Exactly.
Yeah. Let's talk some baseball. So the Blue Jays had a magic number of 4, so we're still waiting on who's going to win the division. You got the Guardians and you got the Tigers. That's massive collapse. You have the Mets. They're paying, what are they paying Soto? $1.7 billion or something, and they're having trouble. So I saw this stat the other day, and the Jays did win last night, so it was Thursday. They needed that win. Dalton Varsho grand slam. That was huge. The Yankees just keep on winning. They're playing terrible teams with the White Sox and Baltimore. Jays have the Rays coming up. So the magic number is 3 for them to clinch the division. Any combination of Jays wins and Yankees losses totaling 3 gives the Jays the division. This is very concerning, this number, Toronto Blue Jays hitters have an OPS, on base plus slugging percentage of .463 in the last 7 games. So to put that into context, quickly in one word or two, that's terrible, as Chuck says. Lowest 7-game stretch in 30 years. One of the things I remember when Michael Kay, the great broadcaster for the Yankees, and they were doing the one of the series against the Blue Jays, and this raised a lot of issues with one of the commentators here in Canada, Jamie Campbell, and they were going back and forth. But he was saying there's no reason the Jays should be even where they were, and at that point they were in first. They're still in first, because he said that this team's plus-minus, horrible. The amount of runs they score against, nowhere near comparable to the Yankees. If you're going in, John, to the playoffs, and you have an OPS, which is .463, you got to figure that thing out. You have a few games left to go against Tampa. You never play them very well. They play you tough. You need to figure that out, because if you don't figure that out, if you get to the wild card game, that's like a game 5 of game 5. It's a game 7 of a 7 game. You only have one shot to make it to the next round. And I got something to tell you about that in a second, too. Anyway, my point is the Jays are picking the wrong time to be playing like this.
So, I mean, look, you're going to win, you win. You win, you win big. You lose big. I mean, that's just, I mean, I think that's what
We're not talking flying, descending on Delta when you're gambling.
No. What I'm saying is that you have teams, and for the record, Toronto's 4-6 in their last 10, and the Yankees, I think, are 8-2 in their last 10. That's why the margin is what the margin is. So when you look at Toronto in and of itself, and you're looking at the numbers, if your pitching is keeping you in games, when you have as balanced a group as you have with Toronto, where Bassett's won you 11, Gausman's won you 10, Berrios and Lauer and Hoffman have won you 9. Then you've got Braden Fisher, who's won you 7, and then you got a handful of dudes that have won games for you this year. I mean, you're looking at probably, 15 different pitchers that have decisions for you this year?
Yeah, and this is what the team is built on. The team is built on everybody doing their thing. It's not like the Yankees where Judge will carry the team. It's not like, say, Seattle. Cal Raleigh's carrying the team. All these other clubs may have one superstar and stud or maybe two, but Vladdy hasn't had a great season. He's doing what he needs to do. Well, he should do a lot more. But there's so much with this club that they go through the top to bottom. Whatever John Schneider puts out, 1 through 9, whoever it is, they know their role. If I was to tell you, John, back in spring training, that guys like Miles Straw, Addison Barger, Ernie Clement, Davis Schneider, that they would be key cogs to the Blue Jays maybe winning a division title, you would have thought it was crazy.
Well, I mean, they're probably
Maybe
not household names
crazy.
even in their own household. I don't know. But, I mean, you look at Gausman as an example.
That's awful.
Kevin Gausman has a whip of 1.03, for those of you who are stat nerds. He only has one complete game this year, and that was a shutout.
It was the other week, too.
10 wins for Gausman, one complete game, which is a shutout, a whip of 1.03. The Major League Baseball is hitting .211 against him. Chris Bassett, a whip of 1 1/3. The leagues are hitting a combined .261 against him. Then Berrios, the league's hitting .253 against him with a whip of 1.3. These are guys.
And they just put him in the bullpen, too. And now he's on the IL because he hurt himself.
Yeah, so look at the numbers deeper than you sit there and you look at an OPS. Oh, my God, they're not hitting. Well, how's their pitching? How is the pitching handcuffing the rest of the leagues and handcuffing the rest of the opposition? So you're either winning 2-1 or you're losing 7-2 or something like that. So you're living in the extremes, but at the end of the day, if you win 2-1, you still win, and if you lose 7-2, it's still a loss. If you're going to pin it into numbers, don't just sit there and look at the numbers across the board. Dive into those numbers and see why they're doing what they're doing. So it's a low OPS, so that means that something else has to pick up. What is it that's picking up? I would say it's the pitching and the variety of it.
This is a huge weight that was lifted. The Tigers beat the Guardians, so that tied them for first place in that division. Let me just say this. They were up by 15 and a half games, John, in July. If the Guardians end up rallying fully by the time this weekend comes and goes, and then the postseason gets underway next week, that would represent, again, 15 and a half game deficit in July. That would represent the biggest deficit overcome to win a division, 1969 to the present, or to win the league pre-1969. It is unreal to think that you're up 15 and a half games in July. You are done. But this is, again, why you play. It's still too long in my book, 62 games.
Well, I mean, it was 154 into the early 1960s, so it was you're just adding, a couple. The Guardians 8-2 in their last 10, the Tigers 2-8 in their last 10, and that's why. I mean, you're sitting there and you're looking at, once again, when do you respond? When do you respond to the bell? Do you sit there and go, hey, we need to light a fire under our collective asses? And
it's been ringing for weeks. Let's respond to it. It's like the bell above you. You respond to it well. I don't know if it makes any noise.
No, well, it does. But, I mean, if you look at the run score difference, just to give you an idea.
What is it?
It is, for Cleveland right now, it's a -4. -4 with everything that has gone on. For the Tigers, it is now +68.
That is unreal. Talk about numbers digesting with the Jays and the pitching. Digest those numbers for a second, and both those teams are tied now? That makes no sense.
It's when you decide to flip the switch. And you're seeing that turn with Detroit, and that's where they are right now. And so Cleveland is gripping right now, and they've got to figure out what's going on. Can they do something against Texas this weekend? They're going to need to.
Cleveland, Detroit, they're tied atop the Central. The Jays and the Yankees tied atop the East. Seattle, they have won the West. And in the National League case, the Mets 12 back of the Phillies, they're done. Philly, move on. Milwaukee, they've won the Central. The Dodgers, they've got that West as well. So it is rounding into shape as we're talking to each other at this point. This is also
blanking thing, according to the big dump, basically in Seattle. I mean,
look, you got to give him the MVP. Come on, man.
We
talked about this already. You hit 60, you play that many games, enough said.
Yeah, and so do not misunderstand my vote for Cal Raleigh as ignoring Aaron Judge. Don't do that.
Agreed.
But when you're a catcher and you're out there every day and you're posting the numbers that Cal Raleigh is, then I'm giving it to Cal Raleigh. Look, I understand the body of the work. Aaron Judge is a fantastic baseball player. That is not in dispute. But the season that Cal Raleigh is having with the position that he's playing and having Seattle do what they're doing, I'm giving it to Cal Raleigh twice and 3 times on Thursday.
So, John, back on Tuesday, this is after we had convened, and now we're reconvening on Friday. Major League Baseball's 11-man competition committee. I wonder why it's 11. 11 men, let's think. I don't know. Anyway, I'll look into that. They approved the use of the automated ball strike system in baseball.
Here comes our
for 2026. So basically, in a nutshell, each team gets 2 challenges. Again, ball strikes. They can keep them if they're successful. They can only be initiated by a pitcher or by a catcher. And I think 22 out of the 30 said yay to this. So it was obviously more than half. What do you think about this movement by baseball right now?
I would rather have Hawkeye or Cyclops instead of robotic overlords. I would expand the review process and the challenge process, because there are great social media accounts out there that break down the errors that are seen by home plate umpires.
Yes.
And I would recommend following those on a daily basis, so you can see really how some umpires really don't need to be umpiring in the current state of the game, and probably should be deferring to younger talent. But because of how the system is structured, it takes true malfeasance isn't the word, but it's just complete and total error in craft that causes anyone to be removed from that particular position. Is this a wake-up call for those individuals? I don't know. I'm not a fan of complete and total robotic, because you do have the chair umpire that's a part of it in tennis.
That's right.
You still have linesmen, you still have the chair umpire, but you still have Hawkeye. I would have said something like that instead of just, all right, y'all are out the door or doing whatever, and you're just kind of standing around wearing your chest protectors inside your 5X shirts, getting a paycheck.
This one is intriguing, too, as to I said that each team gets 2 challenges. A pitcher, a catcher, or a batter can also initiate the challenge. To signal a challenge, it's like you're tipping now. The pitcher, catcher, or batter taps his hat or his helmet, and there's no help. This is one to follow. No help from the dugout or other players on the field is allowed. So imagine that. You have everyone on the field saying, like in soccer, right? When someone goes down, everyone.
Yeah, and then you flop around, and then everybody sit there, and their arms are...
And then you get up again, and you flop around like you're dead, and you get up. Do you know the teams practice that?
Oh,
of course you do.
Of course you do.
They practice flopping and diving and looking like they're shot.
But if you can get the call
I know.
You're going to keep doing it, and you're going to push the envelope until you get to that line and figure out where that line is. That's the beauty of it. You find where the line is, and if the center ref is going to continue to sit there and say, nope, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a card, that's a card, that's a card, then you're out the door. And, so no, I get that completely.
Okay, a couple quick things to wrap. Sidney Crosby's agent is fueling speculation that Crosby is going to waive his no-trade clause for another shot at a Stanley Cup. And now this is all intriguing with what the Panthers find themselves in that situation.
So are they going to go back to Rimouski, Oceanique, and do it there? Is that what they're doing?
I think perhaps that is going to happen.
Just
quick yes or no. Does he get traded or no? Yes or no?
Nah, I don't think so.
What are we going to see this weekend in the NFL? Because we had 7 NFL games decided by one scoring play in the final 3 minutes this past week in the National Football League. I can't wait to see what's going on. By the way, who's your team? The Falcons?
Chargers. Bite your tongue.
Chargers. Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Southern California.
Okay.
So I have dual citizenship, California and Georgia.
Okay.
And no, I was a Clippers, Kings, Chargers kid. Yeah, so that was, and Angels. Yeah, so since I was a South Bay kid, it was the teams that played down that way. So, Dodgers, don't get me started on the owner of the Angels in the front office. Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on the current legal situation that's going on. Bandwagoner. For me, it was the Clippers, not the Lakers. It was the Chargers, not the Rams. And it was the Kings and not those blanking rhymes with ducks.
Last one on this day in 2022. Roger Federer. I saw him on the golf course. Well, didn't literally, but he was playing with Rafael Nadal the other day. Kind of weird to see the two of them doing that. He played his last game, 20 Grand Slams, 103 titles, 130 mil in total prize money. That's not including all the endorsement. Is he the best to ever play the game, John?
Best in this era. I'm not going to. I don't do the best. I don't.
You don't do the comparables. Yeah, I agree.
Because if you're looking at that, then you've got to go Borg, McEnroe, Connors. Then you've got to go back Newcomb, Laver. Then you've got to go back to, Big Bill Tilden. Those kinds of things. In this era, yes. I mean, Sampras and Agassi. Look. We've already named 10 dudes that can be a part of this discussion. So best in the era, yes. Novak Djokovic, same discussion. But of that era, not of the Federer era.
We're going to reconvene next week. We will talk NFL. We'll talk Ryder Cup. We'll have official news on Barkov, how long he will be out. It does not look very good right now. And I will not wear this LA Dodgers hat. I just put that on for you.
Sure you did.
And you haven't looked up very much since.
Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in the National Football League. Right now, the Juice Box is having 4 points or less in the margin.
Okay. We'll talk after the weekend.